Today I want to talk about Chris Olave, who has decided to return to Ohio State. Talk a little bit about Justin Fields entering the NFL draft and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, I want to talk about Chris Olave announcing that he is returning to Ohio State for another year and Justin Fields entering the NFL draft. Well, let's start with the news. Chris Olave choosing to return to Ohio State is the biggest returning to play a senior year decision that I have seen in all of this since the end of the national championship game. Tremendous win for Ryan Day and Brian Hartline, as I had already planned for Garrett Wilson to assume the number one position on the depth chart, making way for other guys like Julian Fleming, G. Scott, Jaden Ballard, and the like to really go in there and make some catches. But Chris Olave coming back is tremendous for one more reason. He's a first-round NFL draft pick. He's that good at wideout. Matter of fact, the man had 50 catches for 729 yards in 7 games this year. He went for over 100 yards receiving in all but 2 games. One of those is against Rutgers. You don't need Chris Olave against Rutgers. That's no disrespect to Rutgers. It's just true. And the other's in the national championship game where he had 8 for 69. He's a player. He's polished. I don't know what else he can prove except that he wants to win a national championship. And this is the clearest indication for me that Ohio State is trying to run it back. They are not looking to rebuild in the least. They are expecting whoever wins the starting quarterback job, whether it be C.J. Stroud, Jack Miller, or Kyle McCord, to pick up where Justin Fields left off and take them back to the Big Ten championship and get them into the college football playoff. That's what this means to me. And then look at what they have, not just offensively, but defensively. I know Baron Browning is going into the NFL draft, and he should, quite honestly. But you're also looking at the way they've been recruiting defensively. Jack Sawyer is a dude. Mike Hall is a dude. And then you're going to get Paris Johnson on the field. And I'm thinking that's huge, right? Because that's one of the most talented offensive linemen ever at Ohio State. I'm putting him up there just below Orlando Pace in the way that he had been recruited and the way that we talked about him and the way that his teammates talked about him. There are men on record at Ohio State saying if he does not win the Outland Trophy, he has done something wrong because he's got all the tools and all the talent to do that. I, again, need to stress that Olave coming back is big. I mean, he had 50 catches this year, had 49 last year in a full season of football. If he plays 14 games, 15 games, right, gets back to the national championship in a regular season, the man would have put up Devontae Smith kinds of numbers. He would have had 100 catches. He would have had 1,400 yards receiving. Devontae Smith had 119 catches for 1,856 yards in 13 games, right? He's up there. He'd be in the running for the Biletnikoff Award. Would he have won it last year? Probably not. But can he win it this year with those sorts of numbers? I believe so. Look around at the top returning wide receivers in the country. They're mostly younger dudes. I mean, freshman, sophomore younger dudes. There's going to be the sophomore that ascends to the top of the depth chart and takes away a bunch of catches from some other players because that's the way college football works. But Olave also gives you the leader in the room. He gives you a steady set of hands. He gives you a man that understands what a quarterback wants to see and how he sees it against coverages. He's going to be able to help you grow up your young quarterback, whoever it is. And you're going to have the most talented wideout, I believe, on the other side in Garrett Wilson. Julian Fleming, I'm sure, is going to have something else to say about that, as will Marvin Harrison Jr., and so will Jamison Williams. And I'm not going to keep going down the wide receiver depth chart at Ohio State because I feel like every time I drop one of these dudes' names that's in an underclassman, somebody in the comments is like, you forgot about X. I didn't forget about him. I just didn't talk about him this one time. Chill out. For real. You don't actually have to go at it that hard. Everybody knows what it is for the Buckeyes. Matter of fact, there are people that's still trying to say that I root for their team, never actually giving some thought to what that actually means. But the point is, Olave returning puts Ohio State back in the driver's seat. That's the difference. That's a ranking spot for me, right? That's 3 points in the spread for me. That's how big a deal that is. He is going to make them better in ways that don't even count on the football field. Meanwhile, Justin Fields does make it official going to the NFL draft. Over the weekend, I thought it was funny that there were people that were in the comments and in my mentions on the Twitters and in my comments and the IG account saying, hey, Justin Fields coming back. Nah, homie. Nah. Let that man go get his money. Y'all need to treat that man like Teddy KGB treats Maddie, all right? Pay that man. Pay that man his money. Because that's what it needs to be. Whether it's the New York Jets or the Atlanta Falcons or maybe the Patriots trade up and want to go get him. Whoever it is, Justin Fields is going to make them look very, very, very smart. 20-2 as a starter. Only 2 games he lost. Only 2 games Ryan Day lost. Clemson, Fiesta Bowl, they avenged that loss in the Sugar Bowl to devastating fashion. And the national championship game, all right? He beat Trevor Lawrence. He looked better than Trevor Lawrence in that game. And he looked better with a bruised hip pointer. Like, the dude is all heart all the time. And he's one of the most talented people playing football, period. Like, I really need to go down and do a list of the most talented folks to ever play football and the most talented folks never to play football. Justin Fields is on that list. It's like him, Kyler Murray. I could put a Drew Henson there, but I don't even think he makes the list. I just got to go down it, right? Charlie Ward is up there, first dude to win, like, Heisman Trophy national championship and then go play professional basketball in the NBA because Charlie Ward was just that dude. That's who Justin Fields is for me. He's a bigger, stronger, faster version of Charlie Ward. He's also more accurate, which makes him quintessential Justin Fields, right? That is who that dude is. And the stories that his dad told me about him will stick with me for a very long time. I'm a huge Justin Fields fan. And, you know, like, it's going to be hard to pick against Ohio State in 21. I thought perhaps with some young dudes on the depth chart at wide receiver, probably going to depend a little bit more on the run game with Travion Henderson and Evan Pryor coming in to go along with Master Teague and Steel Chambers and that awesome offensive line. But now, if you know you got those sure sets of hands on both sides of the field, you're making your job or making the job of your starting quarterback that much easier. Tremendous victory for Ryan Day, Brian Hartline, and I'm wishing Chris Olave the best. I know that's a big decision for him. Can't wait to watch him play football this fall. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.